the Bucks last night, but it didn't come without some wins. Bronny James, a career-high 17 points, shooting 7 for 10 with 5 assists and 3 rebounds in 30 minutes of play. James Jr. even had a highlight moment crossing up former MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's head coach J.J. Redick postgame.
Not surprised by tonight. I think his confidence is growing. I think the next step is just, becoming an elite conditioned athlete. Because when he does that with his physical tools and just his like burst and his handle, and we think he's going to be an above average to really good NBA shooter. He's gonna have a chance to really make an impact.
All right, we know JJ was a shooter himself, and he said above average to really good shooter is his potential. Stephen A., what did you think of Bronny's performance last night?
I was very impressed. I was very impressed because I saw an elevation in his level of confidence and poise. It was like it didn't really faze him. He didn't look as nervous as he had looked in previous appearances on the basketball court. He looked like somebody that belonged. Now, obviously, Milwaukee gave it to them last night, but just looking at the Lakers without LeBron, without Luka, without Rui Hachimura, without Austin Reeves, of course, that put Bronny James in a position where he could get his 30 minutes, but give credit where credit is due. There were some moves that he put out on the court, ball handling skills, getting to the basket, finishing at the basket, pulling up the jumpers, hitting a three, 17.7 to 10 shooting from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong. Are you listening, LeBron James? Are you listening, James family? Are you listening, Rich Paul? Are you listening, all of you people? Because here's my position. My position was all along, Bronny James needed to be in the G League. Put him in the G League, let him be in the G League his first year, and then after that, let him come on, because I've always believed that this kid has the potential, once I watched him, to be in the NBA. But what I saw last night made me say to myself, wait a minute. He keeps showing up and playing like that. J.J. Redick and his staff obviously doing an exceptional job coaching him. The G Leaguers obviously doing a good job of preparing him. Him sitting on the bench, learning, watching the Lakers players, being in practice with them sometimes. Evidently, that seems to be working for him. And if that kind of stuff continues, then indeed he'll be in the league as a bona fide player sooner than later. One game does that make that determination. You need to do more than that. But I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point, Molly, is because when I was approached by Pops, okay, at courtside and all of this other stuff, I will contend till the cows come. Yeah, tell me about it. I will contend till the cows come home. I was never disrespecting Bronny James. I was the one that didn't watch him in high school because I didn't want to judge him like I would have had to had I gone to his game. I didn't go to his college games at USC because he had the heart condition. I waited and waited and waited until he got to the pro level because I wanted to give the kid a chance, because obviously being LeBron James' son puts him in a very precarious position. So this notion that I was disrespecting or his son, it's a lie. It is false. We have numerous tapes that show I did not do that. But I did believe that he belonged in the G League to get himself honed for the NBA level. What may have been wrong about that is that evidently being around J.J. Redick and that staff and being around Pops and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers, combined with the G League going back and forth, may be doing wonders for him sooner than we anticipated. Because I liked what I saw last night, and I'm going to keep the same energy. When he plays well, we're going to give him props. When he doesn't play well, we're going to say so. That's what happens with covering the league. Maybe his pops didn't tell him that, but I'm going to tell him that. Congrats on a good performance last night. I hope it continues. I believe it will. And I believe he's going to be an NBA player, a bona fide NBA player, a lot sooner than people think based on the progress we're seeing him make. Props to him.
Yeah, and again, JJ saying that he could be a great shooter. The loss was the Knicks' third loss in 4 games and 6th in the last 9. Stephen A., I need to see your face for this, please.
I'm not happy.
Well, I didn't even ask the question. I want to know, what's your panic level?
It's no panic level because I resign myself to the fact that I don't expect much from the Knicks this year.
Okay.
to see Cleveland and Boston looking the way that they've been looking, to see the Knicks look as porous defensively as they have looked, to know now that Jalen Brunson is injured and out for a couple of weeks, to see Mikal Bridges getting into it with Tom Thibodeau about minutes, to see Josh Hart getting into it with Tom Thibodeau during a timeout at the game. This is not the same team. With Karl Anthony Towns, they are incredibly talented. But the grit and the toughness that they had from a year ago in the postseason when they resembled cardiac kids, that's not there. So right now, I'm just hoping that the New York Knicks will get out of the first round, because I got news for you. The Detroit Pistons are good enough to beat the Knicks. If they face the Knicks, they could beat them. I'm not saying I'd pick them, but they could beat the Knicks, even with the healthy Jalen Brunson. So I'm just not happy about it right now, but I understand it's a different kind of year, and that just goes with it. At least they're not awful.
That was really depressing. At least they're not off. Great series. People can check that one out on Netflix. So, yeah, major props on that. Staying with the LA theme, obviously you've been there over 20 years. So now that the Lakers have Luka, what do you think their ceiling is?
Finals.
Finals, okay.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm listening.
Finals.
I'm listening.
Here's the thing. All right, so here's what I can get to for sure.
Okay.
I can get to Oklahoma City, Denver, the Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors in my semis.
Okay.
And then after that, I think it gets real freaky. You know what I'm saying? But I think the ceiling is high for them this year. I think this trade really invigorated this team. I think we saw what it did with LeBron and how it lit LeBron up and how he was having, you know, MVP numbers up until him sitting down. But this team is playing different. They got a new swag. And again, you know, I don't count out Golden State too, because obviously with Jimmy Buckets there, like,
I was getting ready to bring that up because you were at the game the other day.
Yeah.
You know, so of course, I mean, what do you think about, I mean, when you compare what you've seen from the Lakers compared to what you've seen from the Golden State Warriors, who I think is about 16-3 since the trading deadline. What are your thoughts about that? Comparing the two.
That Golden State defense is crazy. I will say that. They're flying everywhere. They're talking. They're on a string. It's insane to see how. And I think that is going to be the difference for them. I think that is what's going to get them. I think there is a very strong chance that they get to the conference finals. And I think that defense will be the reason that they get there.
What about the Lakers defense?
I think the Lakers will put up a lot of points. I think they got some great defense. They do got some great defense. Their defense is playing great. Luka's playing the best defense we've ever seen him play in his career, actually.
Okay.
I think they're playing great defense. So, I think this is going to be a fun one. I think if you're a basketball fan, listen, the West is super stacked. Super stacked. And I think if you're a basketball fan, like, we're getting to watch some really great players and some really great teams go at it.
Go ahead,
Jay,
Molly.
today's one of the best days in sports, obviously, right? NCAA tournament. So I'm going with Florida in the men's tournament, and I'm going with UConn in the women's. Who do you have winning each, men's and women's?
Yeah, listen, I would love to see Juju get one. I'm not gonna lie, but I think UConn is built for this tournament. I think they're gonna run away with this one. On the men's side, Duke, Florida, and it's a toss.